Hello, and welcome to another episode from the desk of a Navy wife, where you may or may not hear my kiddos in the background. My name is Raina Worthy, and on this podcast, we like to dive deep into the unique challenges, triumphs, and experiences that come with being a military spouse. So kick back, relax, make that cup of coffee, or get that evening dinner ready, and just listen to me in the background. Hi everyone, I'm so excited today as I have a dear friend and fellow mil spouse / guest speaker today that's going to be joining me on speaking towards cultivating a community as a military spouse. Her name is Fantashia. I'm happy to have you here. Please tell our listeners a little bit about yourself, how long you've been a part of the military spouse life, and how long you've been a mom.
Okay, my name is Fantashia. I've been a military spouse since 2012. Me and my husband been rocking around for about 11 years now. I have been a mom since age 14. So my husband was blessed with a stepchild when we got married, and we then welcomed a new baby in 2020.
Yes, and that is when I met Fantashia for the listeners out there. And, you know, she introduced me and we helped each other through our mom life. So we've really been bonding since then. We met in Japan. So today, you know, I'm going to be asking you questions, Fantashia, really cater around how you can give like insight, providing your experiences and giving tips to our listeners, to either the new military spouses or maybe military spouses that's been here for a while, but they may need that extra assistance when it comes to moving, or if they're going to be moving overseas, you know, kind of what to expect. So I'm going to get things ready for you. All right. So the first question I have for you is, how do you approach building new connections and forming a support network each time you relocated due to a PCS?
So we all know that everyone says it takes a village to raise a child. And a lot of people in the military lifestyle, they're traveling from point A to point B, from this station to that station. And I just like to build community. I feel like you never know what someone is going through. You never know what kind of impact you can make on that person or that person can make on you. So I love connections, even if that's just saying hi. I don't know everybody, but I like to keep a smile on my face, and I like to communicate with those who are around me, because I feel like just a smile and a simple hello can change anybody's day.
And that's big facts. I remember you. The Navy exchange. You're like, hi, how are you today? What are you doing today? And it just be a random person walking by. you having a conversation, and it didn't matter. Like, it was like, yeah, we're running errands, but we have time. We're going to sit, we're going to talk to these people. So my next question is, can you share some personal strategies that you found effective for quickly integrating into that new community right after that PCS move?
So right after a PCS move, it's more of your family is not in arm's reach. And yeah, you want to get out there and do everything yourself. But as much as we want to be superwomen, sometimes, you know, you need an extra hand, you need some extra help. So it's just on communicating and building that family. I just make sure to talk to people, connect to people. If I can help in any way, shape, or form, I try to do that. You know, a lot of these spouses who do move overseas, sometimes when they move overseas, their husbands aren't stationary. They're out and about, they're on the boat, they're, you know, traveling somewhere else abroad. So that person is really in a new country all by themselves. And that's not easy to do. Yeah, they'll come back for a few weeks at a time or a month or two at a time, but being alone in a new place, not knowing anyone, nobody wants to be alone. So I definitely think that it's always great to get out there and connect. You don't know what interest that person may have. They got interest may align. I know that we definitely had a big squad out in that Sugi where, you know, everybody was down to do anything. And it didn't mean that you had to spend money. Some people just wanted to have camaraderie, say, hey, I'm cooking dinner tonight at my house, come over, you know, and we all sit down, watch some TV, have a drink of wine, and just relax and just do, and be able to do it with your children. It's a lot of people who have children and they don't know how to network because they're like, oh, well, my children run crazy. It's okay to let kids be kids sometimes.
For sure. And I feel like you definitely was that person that was like, oh, here, bring your kids over there, go play. They're going to go play in the back or go play together or whatever. And just, again, us us moms being able to just be an adult for a second really helped us to be able to breathe, especially with our spouses away. Because oftentimes
Right.
they were gone on deployment. And then we were like, girl, I need to talk to another person that's close to my age because I'm
Mm-hmm.
a young one all day. So I completely agree. My next question for you, what role do military support organizations or spouse groups play in helping military spouses establish a sense of community in a new location?
For me, I only got into any type of group when I think I tried on 2 occasions. When he was out on a boat, of course, you want to reach out to those platforms for the boats because you have a lot of spouses whose husbands are on the boat and you can kind of help with communication there because one person may be like, oh, I haven't talked to my husband in a little bit. And if you spoke to your husband that day, you can kind of really alleviate some of their stress, like, hey, I got word from my husband, everybody's doing good, nothing alarming, is going on. That way you can kind of alleviate some of their stress, especially to keep that communication open, because sometimes it's very scarce to get in contact with your husband if they're on a boat or a plane or whatever part of the military they're in. Everybody know about deployments when they go underway. Communication is very hard. Getting in touch with your ombudsman. Sometimes we actually have a group, like we had a group with our husband's command, and once a week, or once every 2 weeks, we'll get together at a coffee shop and just, touch bases. Is there anything that we want to do or try, or an event that we want to have, just to keep us kind of together in the loop and in the now, so that we're not always dependent on our husbands, because their jobs are very demanding. And a lot of times with their jobs being demanding, you get stuck in the house or you get stuck doing things. And that was our way of getting out of the house, learning the new culture that was there and that was around us, and giving us the opportunity to meet other spouses that's within the same command.
Yes, for sure. I feel like although you didn't introduce me to like the enlisted spouse club, I did meet you still, with the outing
Mm-hmm.
people that were a part of it, and being able to, and you supported, even though you said, "Oh, I'm part of a group," you still supported. You showed up.
Yes, I don't know if you remember, but I was that random person in your inbox like, hey,
Hey, how
I
you
heard that we're having children around the same time. And
right, right. Just popping into Facebook Messenger, like, how you doing? This
right, you don't know me, but you about to know me, right?
right, right. We're gonna become friends. So for sure. So I guess really it would be, getting comfortable with being like uncomfortable. Like you have to be
Mm-hmm.
okay with just talking to other people for sure. And kind of maybe even creating your own group.
Yes. Yes. Because you definitely have to, once you start to bond with people, they see like how, oh, I like you. And oh my gosh, you would get along with this person. And I can't wait for us to hang out. Why don't we come to the house, come to the house and let's plan an adventure. You'd be so surprised. Like I did 3 duty stations, I think, with my husband. I've done Maryland, and now we're back in Maryland. And I also did Japan. And Japan was the biggest move for me because I was not used to moving out of the mama's nest. I was always close to mom, but I wanted to adventure. So I wanted to break that bubble. And I was like, Japan, let's do it. I've never been. It's a place that my brother always wanted to go. Maybe if I can get out that way, they'll come too. And my mom actually came to Japan twice when I got there, which was super amazing. And she made it before COVID, so that was even more awesome. So we actually got an opportunity to sightsee and venture off. It's very big to be able to go overseas, but it's different. It's a different atmosphere of getting out and knowing something different other than the United States. So if you have the opportunity, don't be scared, jump on it. You will find your community if you get out there. Don't be a homebody, even if it's just a coffee shop, if it's just you going to one of the command picnics or something that they're having. Get yourself out there, do it. And you don't have to be like, oh, I'm a part of this community and a part of this community, and keeping yourself super busy in order to find your group of people.
No, I agree with that 100%. And I'm so glad you brought up overseas because another question I was going to have for you was, have you encountered any challenges in forging those connections in different parts of that country, whether it was overseas in Japan or just the United States in general? And then if you did have those challenges, how did you overcome them?
The only challenge would be language barriers. With me being in Japan, Japan is so inclusive to the American culture and all cultures, to be honest. It's not just American culture. So even though we'll go out there and we may not understand something, it was so easy to get to understand it. If that was using Google Translate, if that was looking at the map and it's telling you what direction you're going to and what direction you're going back, it was pretty simple, and people are willing to help. And I know you like, oh, people is probably going to be mean. Nobody's going to help me out. People are very helpful if you give them a chance. I don't think we give enough credit to people when it comes to the helping factor. Sometimes somebody can just see you stranded and is willing to help. I remember when we first got there, I knew nothing about any language. I didn't know what they said. I didn't know how they said it. And a lady literally came up to me and my son was trying to talk to us. She had a group of friends and she literally went and got us a cup of coffee. She didn't want us nothing in return. She just wanted to introduce us to her culture. And I thought that was so beautiful. And I think that was a great grand opening to me being in a new surrounding area, because I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do. I just nodded my head, thank you, and appreciation. And that was enough. I think that's what was like, you know what, you don't got to be scared. You don't, these people are appreciating that you're in their country just as well as you're appreciating being in their country.
No, for sure, because I feel like a lot of us tend to forget the unspoken communication. Like you said,
Mm-hmm.
you nodded your head, and they knew that that was some form of appreciation for them as well. So I'm glad that you were able to forge that connection, and that's something new because I didn't know that about you. That's something that you encountered when you first went
Yes.
overseas. So nice. So my next question for you is, how do you maintain relationships with the friends and the support networks from previous duty stations while adapting to that new environment?
Facebook Messenger is your best friend. I never knew how much I would use Facebook Messenger until I went overseas. That was the main communication to keep in contact with everyone. It comes to you being able to video chat with multiple people at a time, get in a group chat with people at a time, have an individual call. And not only that, that thread and the messages are going to stay there until you delete them. Like, I still communicate with people through Messenger. And I think that's just one of the good things about Facebook is the fact that it does actually give you that communication. Now, email, yes, but Messenger is pretty spot on. You can't mess up. You can't forget it. Like, even now that they have it so that you can talk to people who don't even have a Facebook or Messenger. Winning. So winning.
I feel like honestly what got me into still using so much of Messenger was being overseas. I feel like I returned stateside, and I don't know if this is something you encounter too, but moving stateside, then trying to reach out to friends again, and they're like, "Why are you messaging me on Facebook? I'm not on Facebook," you know?
Right. Yes.
But then of course, all of us still talking to everyone else that we met overseas.
Or you see that little green bubble, so you know they're active. So you be like, "Yep, it's a good time to call because they on Facebook."
For sure. So my next question for you is, can you discuss the importance, and I'm glad you talked about Facebook, but can you discuss the importance of social media or online platforms in maintaining those connections with military spouses, especially during those transitions between duty stations? So aside from Facebook forums, would you speak on?
So it's very important to keep that open communication, especially on platforms. Right before I left to actually go to Japan, I had created a family out here in Maryland, and I was working at the Navy Exchange, and that's where most of the military spouses or retirees would actually, get a job at to still be a part of the military family. And I would have people come in all the time. And right before I left, I had to go and get like all of my medical records and everything. And one of the ladies who was a customer actually reached out. She had saw me while I was in there, and she gave me her card, and she was just like, "Listen, I absolutely love you and admire you. I've been coming to your job for so long. You've always had this bubbly attitude. I've never seen you out of pocket in any way, shape, or form. You've always gave 100%. It's like it exudes you." She was like, "Listen, you never know who you know. I'm giving you my card because if you ever get in a bind or if you need anything, I want you to be able to reach out." And she gave me her card. To this day, I got her card. Never had to reach out, but she gave me her card. And that just shows you and it doesn't matter where you are. People are with the military. You can know people that's been in contact with so many different people and have so many different connections, and them being willing to extend that olive branch. So keep those connections open. Don't burn bridges. Always be your best self in any way that you can. And if you find yourself losing yourself in any shape, way, or form, then come back to your people so that they can help you through it, because you're not going to be the first person to go through something, and you're not going to be the last. So keep those connections, remain that positivity, and just keep driving forward.
No, I love that because I do feel like many of us as military spouses often do come to a point where we feel like we're losing ourselves. You know, we're like, I don't feel the same, or so much is changing. Where's
Mm-hmm.
you know, where's me again? And I think it's important to know that it's okay to change instead of pointing it as, oh, you know, I'm losing myself. No, you're finding a new something new about yourself. So my next question for you, have you found any particular activities or any particular initiatives that were helpful in facilitating your friendships and those community ties in those new locations?
I want to say not for myself, but for my child. There are programs out there that will literally active activity centers for your kids to go play games and meet kids of their age. My child was a whole teenager. I was like, I do not know what I'm about to do with this teenager here in Japan, but I'm not going to have a job in Japan just so that I can make sure whatever it is he want to do, he has full access. I literally enrolled him in a teen center. The teen center was on base, and that teen center provided them with snacks. They provided them with games, with after school programs to help them with homework. They provided them with where on the weekends they can actually go and do sightseeing out in town, and they'll get a bus ride from there and back, like field trips. Actually met a awesome wife there and became friends with her because I was literally going in there to set up paperwork, and she was at the front desk, and she was super awesome and super bubbly. And it's just, you meet people through your children, because like your children run into people, and your children need certain things around the base, and it's just like, let's go figure this out. So I definitely would say the teen center was definitely one of those that created an outlet for my child. As far as myself, I would definitely say the squadron group, only because it allowed me to get outside of the house a little bit more to meet those spouses. But really just my spouses, like my spouses that come from different squadrons. They show up and they show out in the
Right.
best ways. You know what I'm saying? And coming up with ideas, events. I want to go thrift shopping. Let's go. Hey, I want to try this new restaurant. Let's go. Hey, I want to try this new food item, but I don't feel like leaving. So we're going to go to 7-Eleven right quick, bring back a whole bunch of snacks and just chill. So I definitely commend my spouses, because it's scary to get out there and meet new people and give somebody your complete all, and being able to do that with no messiness, no cattiness, just great fun and friendship.
No, for real. Like that genuine laughter and getting together. And you didn't even speak on this, which is shocking. But that time that you had that paint night, like you were like, y'all gonna come over to my house and we're gonna paint and we're gonna watch this YouTube video. And it was literally, some of us had already known each other, but we also connected with spouses that we didn't really know.
Mm-hmm.
Came over and it was for you to open up your house to people that we may not have hung out with all the time or even met really, but we knew you were still a part of the community, and opening up your house to them was, I would say, was a great example of an activity and really just being open and opening your heart to other spouses.
And that's where you come back to. I know growing up when I was younger, grandma and aunties and uncles would just have kickbacks. It wasn't, oh, you got to go do something or you got to go out and go to a club. It would just have kickbacks. Bring your kids, bring a plate, bring some food, bring some drinks, and just relax and play cards and listen to music and have conversations. And we've had conversations from deep ones to funny ones to politics to social media. And it's just like, and it's still love all at the end of the day, no matter our difference of opinions or our same opinions. It's just us being able to communicate with each other and love on each other.
And this is gonna be my final question for you, but I feel like throughout this entire conversation, you kind of showed a little bit about the different ways that you balance it, but I'm still gonna ask the question. So how do you balance the need to form new networks with the challenges of frequent relocation, especially in terms of supporting your family and your own well-being?
You have to realize, one, that everybody is different. Everybody have different stuff on their plate. Everybody have different challenges. Some people are introverted. Some people are out there and willing to communicate with everybody, but it's respecting that. I have friends who are like, don't call me every day, but when you call me, we're going to have a great time. You have those friends that say, hey, I'm here, but I need to be in the house for a little bit, and that's okay. Or, hey, call me before you come, don't just pop up. That's okay. It's respecting each other's space, especially when respecting people's boundaries. You know what I'm saying? So I think that you'll know who those people is that you can call every day. You'll know who those people is. Like once in a blue moon, you want to check up on them, see how they're doing. I think everybody that I've met overseas, I've really kept a great connection with. And even some who I haven't kept in contact with, or maybe we separated for whatever reason, I still have their social medias. I still check on them. I still applaud them. Just because you're not friends or just because y'all don't talk every day doesn't mean that you can't be great supporters of each other. So I think you just keep that in mind and just appreciate each other for who each other are.
Yes, and thank you for that because I feel like many people may, and it could be, newer military spouses or seasoned military spouses where they can maybe get in their feelings when they feel like there's those differences. And it's like, listen, we all still come from different backgrounds. Like, yes, we have the commonality of being military spouses. We have that in common. We're still different. We still have different upbringing,
right.
all of that. And like you said, respecting people's boundaries and just kind of maneuvering and working with them and still being open to that friendship is definitely would help.
And not only that, like when you go overseas and you have that open communication with someone, it's like, hey, my family is asleep back home. So no, I'm not on my phone. I'm chilling out with you guys.
Right.
But when you come back home and you're in a mix of it and you got so much going on with cousins and uncles and aunties and mommies and daddies and grandparents, it's very hard to get in the mix of getting back to your normal than being able to be accessible as much as you was accessible before. So it's okay not to be accessible. It's okay not to have the same amount of time that you used to have for someone. As long as the love is still there, then you're good. You can sit there and not talk to somebody for a year, but when you go back to talk to them, it's like riding a bike. It's like you've never lost that communication. Right. Catching up is easy. It's fun and it's exciting because now you guys have so much more to talk about. So embrace every experience that you get and go out that joint with a bang. That's all you can do.
Right. And then, honestly, through all of this, I again want to thank you. Those are all the questions I have for you, but I still wanted to take the time to thank you again for being my guest today, for providing your personal experience, providing your insights, providing those tips to our fellow military spouses. Again, this is Fantashia, y'all, and this is a friend of mine that I met overseas, and we still maintain that relationship today. That's all I have for you all today. Be sure to tune in to my next episode, The Desk of a Navy Wife. I'm sending all my love. Fantashia, you want to say bye to our listeners?
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.
Thank you all again for tuning in this week. I look forward to bringing you resources, support, and laughter. Sending my love from the Desk of a Navy Wife.